Myntra, which is a made in India brand, is all set to make a fashion statement overseas. It's ready to make for the world. And that it is beginning with the launch of its operations in Singapore. Remember, this essentially is to cater to the Indian diaspora in the country on the back of traction that the company is getting. This, remember, comes just months after the company received an $81 million funding infusion from parent Flipkart last November. Also, this crucial development comes in since the Bengaluru-based company also turned profitable in the financial year that ended March 2024. It reportedly saw a net profit of 31 crores in FY24 against a net loss of 782 crores the previous year. Well, on that note, let's now go straight across to the company's CEO, Nandita Sinha, who's going to speak to us about the new strategic move. Thank you very much, Nandita, for joining us here on ET Now. First things first, you're launching Myntra Global, you're beginning operations in Singapore. Why have you thought of international expansion now, and why Singapore to begin with?
Good to talk to you today. And we are here today, like you said, to talk about the launch of Myntra Global, which is really our endeavor to bring India to the world. So what we are trying to do is really bring the Indian fashion to the world. And you asked why now? I think we've been seeing this for the last 3-4 years, especially post pandemic. With social media, with I think e-commerce becoming more mainstream across the globe, consumers are really tapping back into their Indianness. The Indian diaspora, which is living in different parts of the world, is tapping back into their Indianness and seeking Indian wear, ethnic wear, Indian brands for occasions which are ranging from special occasions to weddings to celebrations and to festivals. And as a result of this, we were seeing a lot of traction that we were getting on our traffic on Myntra. Almost 10 to 15% of our traffic is actually coming from international markets. If you look at a country like Singapore, for example, there are around 650,000 Indians, and we get almost 30,000 Indians who are visiting us every month. And therefore, there is already a demand for Indian wear. There is already a demand for the brands that Myntra retails, and therefore, we thought it was a good opportunity to really use the customer platform of Myntra to be able to build to bring India to the world. So this is really a foray of bringing Indian fashion, bringing made in India brands to the world. So we want to not only provide the best of India to the Indian consumers living in different parts of the world, but also create a valuable service for brands to be able to reach out to these consumers. So that's really what this
Right,
foray is
Nandita.
about.
So that's a great idea to bring Indian brands to the diaspora that's living abroad. And that really speaks volumes about the kind of growth that Myntra is seeing. And of course, the kind of interest that India-made products is being seen globally. But once again, focusing on the Singapore question, how many PIN codes will you be initially providing service to? And what's the level of investment that Myntra is committing to its Singapore operations? And hence, what's the ROI that you're seeking in terms of growth that's expected from that geography?
And also in terms of investments, we have leveraged our current capabilities. So whether it is our technology capabilities or it is our brand partnerships to be able to make this foray. We are currently in the learning mode. I think this is something we've not done before. No platform of this scale has done something like this before, and therefore this is really our phase to learn, understand a little more about what the consumer wants, what is the kind of selection the consumer wants, what is the customer service that is acceptable to the consumer, how do the brand partners actually flourish in this partnership, and essentially really build the product market fit. So that's the first milestone that we are looking at, and then hopefully we scale from there.
Right, Nandita. Now, in the first answer that you were giving, you did mention about the fact that 10 to 20, 15% of web traffic is coming in from international markets for Myntra. So are there any other geographies that you're mulling at expanding in for your international expansion?
No, nothing planned for now, Sumita. And again, like I said, I think we want to go deep into this market to understand it, to build the right business model and something that is built for consumer traction, and then we will kind of move forward. So
Okay.
nothing planned for now.
Right. So, Nandita, all your focus is going to be on Singapore operations, at least for the time being. You're looking at scaling up in the country even further. But let me also ask you about Myntra overall, the India operations. Well, as a company, you recently turned profitable. What were the key strategic decisions that contributed to that remarkable shift that came about at Myntra?
We are not at liberty to kind of talk about our financials, Sumita, but I think what has really helped us grow in a sustainable way has been the fact that we have been very consumer focused and very, very focused on innovations that drive consumer traction. So, if you look at our journey over the last 3 years, whether it is foraying into new categories like beauty and personal care, which has given us a higher share of wallet of the consumer, or it is actually leveraging into international brands by expanding our brand portfolio, whether it is deepening our partnership with brands like Mango, H&M, or getting new brands like Abercrombie and Fitch, Next, Hollister, etc. So this, or it is expanding our D2C universe, creating the first platform for fashion D2C brands in the form of Myntra Rising Stars. Whether it is building forward, which is a Gen Z platform for fashion, or it is now into M Now. I think what has really helped us that we have kept our eye on creating value for the consumers through innovations, going deeper into our consumer set that really values us, but also tapping into new consumer markets, whether it is the Gen Z market or it is the tier 2 tier 3 market, strengthening our brand partnerships. We have almost 9,700 brands on the platform, 29 lakh selection. So I think focusing on creating a moat through selection, creating a moat through our service. Almost 45% of our orders in metro cities are delivered in 2 days. M Now is another service foray. And this results in having a very, very strong and loyal customer base. We get almost 70 million users a month on the platform. Um, this has really been our focus. We are focused on the customer, creating innovation for the customer, and building the best of fashion to the customer through great unbeatable service. So that's who we are.
Right. Nandita, you also mentioned about your quick commerce offering, besides other factors that are pushing growth and that are contributing to the growth of the company. The quick commerce offering from Myntra, which is M Now, you're present in Bengaluru with about 1,000 SKUs. How soon are you looking at expanding this service to other key cities, and which cities will be prioritized by Myntra? And what about the expansion of SKUs? Hence, given the fact that there is increased competition in the quick commerce segment, so will you be looking at expanding these SKUs in the near term?
We already are in Bangalore with 10,000 SKUs actually. So we have almost 10,000 styles which are live in Bangalore. And we've seen a great traction from consumers, whether it is and really delivering fashion to the consumers as they need it and as the occasion arises. So if you look at whether it has been ethnic wear during festivals or weddings, or it has been trolleys and other travel accessories like bags during the summer travel season that has just started. So we saw almost a 5x splurge of a surge of trolleys in the current travel season. Or it is categories like beauty and personal care, where we are going very deep into giving consumers elevated beauty offerings in the M Now offering. We've seen a great traction. It has been something which has been growing month on month, week on week. As we speak, you will see us expand by the end of this month. We are already present in some manner in a few cities, but by the end of this month you will hear a very, very focused I mean, we are in the process of expansion, so you will hear us talk about a focused expansion into some of the other cities. But this is a very important part of our strategy. We are seeing customers come in through Myntra now, and also we are seeing great customer repeats and traction through the offering. So this is something that we will continue to focus on.
Right. Nandita, let me now ask you about navigating challenges that have been posed by the volatile retail market. This competition, like I said, that's also building up. However, you're growing month on month, week on week. But let's talk about the challenges with respect to all of these factors and, of course, rising operational costs.
I think, I mean, we look at it always from an opportunity, Sumita. Like if you look at, omni fashion, that is only 12 to 13% of the overall fashion universe that is there. If you look at a platform like Myntra, there is a huge untapped potential in terms of the next set of tier 2 tier 3 cities which are available for us. If you look at a growing consumption class which is really very different in how they buy fashion, how they consume fashion, is the Gen Z consumer. So if you look at all of these opportunities put together, there is a huge opportunity that is ahead of us. There are macro trends which are actually helping us drive this opportunity, whether it is premiumization or it is actually growing traction from the Gen Z consumers who are buying fashion more often from platforms like ourselves, especially through an offering of forward that we have. I think these are actually macro trends that are helping us grow. So we have a view of looking at it from an overall perspective of what's the opportunity, and that is like 87% untapped if you were to look at it, as well as macro trends which are helping our platform grow. And therefore we have been able to balance some of the other elements which may have a negative impact on the macro trends.
Right, Nandita. In fact, you've given us an interesting perspective of all the macro trends that are going to help the company grow and help it stay ahead of competition. But let's look ahead and get your insights on how you see Myntra exploring new product categories beyond fashion, beauty, and home decor. Do you look at expanding further? What can we expect in future in terms of product diversification? And are there any areas which will see higher investments in the near future?
Sure. See, from a category perspective, we are a lifestyle platform, and therefore we have a lot of untapped potential, both in terms of beauty and home and beauty and personal care and home. While these have been growing almost 2 to 3 times the market rate, but we still see that there is a lot of untapped potential, given that we have 70 million users a month on the platform. So these two categories will actually continue to see expansion within them. Areas where we will continue to invest are Forward, which is our Gen Z foray, Myntra Now, which is our quick commerce foray, and also as we build Myntra for the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So these would be the areas of investment for.
Right, Nandita. So that's an interesting mix of categories and segments that you're looking at investing in the near future. But one final question before we let you go. Now, Myntra has recently halted sales of Turkish apparel brands, according to several reports, and of course, has also been stated by KATE, which is the Confederation of All India Traders. Will you continue to do so, and for how long?
We are continuing to, continuing to look into where things are, and we'll continue to do the right thing as we go forward. So yeah, I mean, we've already taken a few actions, but we will continue to look at where things are and therefore look at things ahead.
Well, you'll continue to do the right thing, which is in national interest. Well, on that note, thank you very much, Nandita, for taking the time out and speaking with us on the plans that the company has for growth and expansion, not just in India, but globally as well. Thank you very much once again for taking the time out and speaking with us right here on SUC or Startup Central. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the show. Hope you liked it as much as we did putting it together for you. From me and the entire team, goodbye and thank you very much for watching.